What is up, y'all? Welcome back to episode 10 of Fem Talk. I don't know if you guys can believe it or not, but we are on episode 10 already. For those of you guys who are new here, Fem Talk is a podcast that highlights the different individuals in the LGBTQ community. It's a safe space for us to have open and honest conversations about the struggles that we face in our society that pertain to our relationships, the obstacles of living in our truth, and just some of the things that we go through. Now, with today being episode 10, I wanted to do something a little bit different. We are not having a guest. It is just moi, your girl KP, because I realized that, all of this happened kind of so fast. And I never really got to introduce you guys to like myself and who I am and what it is that I do. So first episode was definitely hosted by Inkinge and I was the co-host. You guys got to check out that episode. We were talking about fuckboys, and we kind of just jumped right into it. So Fem Talk is a subsidiary of a reality show called Fem's LA. And what that was, it was a group of about 5 of us, and we were filming basically just our everyday lives. Like, it was showing our relationships, like what we do. Most of us were entrepreneurs or musical artists or things of that sort. So that was actually really, really fun. It was my first time even doing television or any type of show, to be honest. Like, I've never done anything like that before. So that was really cool to get to know some of those other girls and just kind of like get familiar with what production is like and having people follow me. I felt famous, y'all. I felt famous. So that was really, really cool. And with that, I basically got on that show because I was on Instagram one day. And I followed this girl who was one of the main cast members. I was a supporting cast member at the time. And she posted how she was looking for people in the community who, were doing X, Y, and Z. And I hit her up. I met with my producer and boom, I was on the show. So a little bit more about me and what I was showcasing is I'm a model. I do all things creative, y'all. I host this very fabulous podcast. I do music videos. I'm now a jeweler, so I make jewelry as far as like grills, chains, pendants, whatever you guys need. I do a little bit of everything, like literally everything. So I've just been trying to, put myself out there a little bit more in different ways, showcasing like my different talents. And when it comes to Fem's LA, we do kind of have something up our sleeve. I know that there was a couple of episodes released and things happen, unfortunate events, but we do have something coming. So make sure you guys, keep up with that. Stay tuned with us. Stay tuned with me. Other than that, guys, I just want to kind of like talk about some of my own experiences, like in the community. I personally, I like to just think that I'm not very new to coming out because I'm 28 now. I came out when I was 17, but for the most part, that's like late to a lot of people. I don't know when most of you guys came into self or came out to your parents or your family, but I was definitely like 18. And a little bit about that experience of mine was I was raised Catholic. So if you guys know anybody who's religious or grew up in a religious household or anything of that sort, especially Catholicism, child, it was deep because I knew that I liked women when I was in like the 3rd grade. Let me give y'all a backstory of my first encounter with a woman. So I was in 3rd grade. How old are you in like 3rd grade? You're like 8 or 9, something really, really young, right? So I used to go to the school that I went to. Of course, it was Catholic, but it was predominantly Hispanic and Caucasian. Me and my brother were actually the only 2 African Americans. Not a great experience. But anyways, so in my neighborhood, there were other Black kids, and I would try to play with them, but I always felt like I didn't really like fit in, Maybe because I went to school with all like Hispanic and white people, like I was like whitewashed, I guess you could say. I don't know. But so there was this girl though who took a liking to me and we were cool. Like she always treated me like real cool. She let me play with them and whatever the case may be. So one day, I know y'all remember this. I know y'all remember Hide and Go Get It. I know. That sounds so fast to be like, that sounds so fast to be like the third or the fourth grade. But one day we were playing that game, hide and go get it. And I don't remember how the rules went. All I know is you're supposed to hide. And then when they find you, you either kiss or do something we wasn't supposed to be doing. So me and the little girl hid together. And y'all, she kissed me. And I didn't think it was weird. I didn't think it was nothing off about it. It was just like, oh, okay, this is nice. It was nice. Like, I liked it. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I really liked it. And then after that, we would hang out. And it's so funny, I'm thinking about this now because I was so young, but we would hang out and sometimes we would just kiss each other. So shout out to Kelsey, because that was the girl's name, because you were my first anything. And after that, but I will say this, y'all. We would hang out, we would kiss a little bit, whatever. But I think after a while, I got scared of how it made me feel. So I stopped hanging out with her because my grandma, if y'all know me and you know my grandma does not play. So I thought that I was going to go to hell or something for like liking girls or kissing girls. Because, you know, we would be in church like 2-3 times a week and homosexuality was a sin and all of these things. And I was just like, you know what? I got to stop talking to them and hanging out with this girl because my grandma going to send me to hell. And if she find out, all hell's going to break loose. So I actually unfriended her. Like, I stopped hanging out with her and then we moved shortly after. And that was that. But I still think about that to this day because it really shaped me into who I am now. So fast forward, I dated men in high school to feel normal because, again, I came from a private Catholic school. The first time I went to public school was in like 8th grade. And when I got to high school in 9th grade, I was still fairly new. Like, a lot of people didn't know me. I feel like I was still a little awkward, you know, trying to adjust to public school or whatever. And I knew that I liked girls because there were so many girls in high school. Now there was girls who were masculine presenting, the bitches who played basketball, and the femmes, you know what I mean? It was some options. And I found it weird that like nobody else I knew liked girls. So I kept it to myself. I dated this boy for like 3.5 years. And I remember y'all specifically, I asked him, I said, how would you feel if I told you that I liked women? And he said, that shit weird. Just like that, in his little voice. And I was like, okay. So it just kind of made me shut down again even more, because I'm like, well, if he don't even think it's sexy or cute, because you know some men love to see girls kissing girls. He was not with that shit. It just really made me feel like, okay, maybe something's wrong with me. So I shut it all the way down, y'all, and I was trying to fake the funk. But you could only fake the funk for so long, because let me tell y'all, I cheated on that man with a whole woman. I know, but I couldn't help it. And so after I graduated high school, I finally was like, you know what? I was working at Amazon. Now, if you are in my age range, or 2012 to 2014, Amazon was popping. Most of the people I know have worked at an Amazon warehouse. Nowadays, it's a little different. But back in the day, if you was at Amazon, yeah, that was some shit. But so it was studs everywhere. I feel like every stud worked at Amazon, y'all. I swear to God. And so my first girlfriend pursued the hell out of me. Like, when I tell you, like, she was following me in the aisles because she was what do you call that? Like a safety officer or something silly, I don't know. And so she would always find a reason to come and talk to me while I'm picking and packing or whatever the case may be. So yeah, she would follow me around. And one day I was just like, are you like following me? Because like, I feel like I always see you like at the same time every day in the same little aisle, whatever. And she basically was telling me, yeah, like she thought I was cute, or she was fine, y'all. She was really... Shout out to my first girlfriend, because she was fine as hell. And she asked me out and we went on a date, and I was like, you know what? This is it for me. So that was 2014. I came out and I just had a great time, like, with her. Granted, she was a Scorpio. She was another me. I'm a Scorpio, but I'm an October Scorpio. She was a November Scorpio, and child, she cried way too much. So eventually it didn't work. But it was a great first experience for me to have had like a girlfriend for the first time. And ever since then, you can't tell me nothing. It's women on top of women on top of women. And I'm just so comfortable with myself now. And I'm grateful because I feel like me being more comfortable in my own sexuality has brought me so many opportunities. Like the fact that I get to host this amazing podcast that highlights, other women or transgenders or bisexuals, just anybody in the community. I was on a TV show, Fem's LA. I also did a little bit of a background too. I did another reality show called Bossed Up, and all of those people, all the cast members, were also strictly a part of the community. So I just think it's cool. Like, it's cool to live in my truth. It's cool to like be able to relate to other people, because not saying that I don't relate to, heterosexual people, but there's just a lot of things that I feel like they miss. Like, for instance, I posted on my Instagram recently that I'm looking, for new people to interview, to come on the show, talk about what it is that you go through, because I want to have any and everybody in the community come on this platform and be able to talk about whatever the hell your heart desires, just because there's not a lot of spaces out here like this for us, right? And so one of my friends, Guy, he's straight, he hits me up and he goes, well, don't you think that's kind of like biased because you're only looking for people in the community? And I said, no, I don't think that's biased, because it's a podcast about people in the community. Like, if I interview you as a straight man, what experience are you going to give me? What are we going to talk about? Like, I'm sure there's things we could talk about, but it won't align with what it is that we're trying to bring awareness to, So sometimes I feel like people just be trying to like fit in where they don't fit in, or make themselves like important in spaces where it has nothing to do with them, So it just kind of made me feel like this is why I have this podcast, because there's a lot of people who are so unheard, where you want to be heard. What do you want to be heard for? I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me, y'all. So I'm definitely, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be you guys' host. I feel like we've had some great conversations. We've talked about fuckboys. We've talked about women in tech. We've talked about dancers and entrepreneurship. I've had some of my closest friends on here. I've had some really cool people doing some really dope things. We've had Amber, and I'm just looking forward to more people, more dope people for one, more people who have a lot of stuff going for them, to come on here and just talk about what it is that they're doing and inspire other people. I know that a couple years ago, I would have never thought that I would be here, sitting in this room, sitting behind this camera, talking to whoever my viewers are, people who listen to me, people who hit me up and tell me, hey, I listened to your podcast today and it was really, really good. Like, I never thought this would be my life. And I just feel like the more that you work towards something, things that you want, believe in yourself, you can just manifest and create a lane for you. I feel like it was never really like, hey, I want to be a podcast host, or hey, I want to do this. It kind of just stumbled upon me, and I feel like I'm good at it. So I feel like I've created my own lane in this sense, and I just hope that everything that I do and that, you guys listening to this podcast inspires you guys to go after what it is that you love, or inspires you to want to just live in your truth. I think that's one of the key lines that I've said so many times in different episodes. You just have to live in your truth, it's really important, especially in 2023, y'all. You can be whoever the hell you want to be, unapologetically, and people are either going to get with it or they're going to get lost. They're either going to understand or they're going to judge, but you can't let that stop you from being who you are, because if that was the case, I would be a straight woman right now, but I'm not. So, if I let other people's opinions of me and what they want for me to go have a husband and have a baby and this is not, I wouldn't be Big KP sitting in this chair telling y'all some real shit, So yes, I just want you guys to all be yourselves. that was a little bit about me. Like I said, this episode was just a little bit different. I just wanted to give you guys some background of who your host is. And other than that, guys, we're going to keep it short and sweet this time. I will be back with another guest for episode 11 of Fem Talk next week. So see you guys then.